It's 2 o'clock. Alexa, can I get volume 5, please? Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cooking with Krystal. This is Krystal Taylor. Let me set my other recording. This is Krystal Taylor from Fitness is Not a Game. And we are here today to go over some meal prepping stuff. So as you hear, I have my music on. I don't cook without my music. I might bust out and sing, but nobody say I could sing. But I do, because I enjoy my music. And this is actually my song. So I don't know if y'all can hear that, but this is my jam. But anywho, today, what we are going to do is make breakfast and lunch in about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Now, when I say that, that means that all of your work will be done. Will there still be some cook time? It's possible, but for the most part, in and out. So I haven't done, even though I pulled out everything, I believe I have everything that I'm using today. I haven't done any prep work. I haven't cut anything. I haven't washed anything. I haven't done anything yet. So we're about to get this thing started. But before we get started, hey, Shahan, tell me where you're watching from. And if you're watching on the replay, say replay, put replay in the comments, and still let me know where you're watching from. All right. So let me tell you about what we're going to make today. For breakfast, I have this thing, I love frittatas, just because they are easy to make, and I'm gonna move this over here. They're easy to make, hey boo-boo, and they also, you can add so much to it. And I just like cooking with eggs because one, they're cheap. You know, people complain about healthy eating being expensive, but eggs are one of the few things that you can get that's very inexpensive that you can find anywhere, and you can do so much with them, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So, and baby girl, Jahan, let me know, is that music too loud? Because like I really want to blast it because I know y'all need to hear me, but I talk loud anyway. So let me know if the music's too loud, or if you can't hear it at all and I just look crazy when I start dancing. I'm just saying. So anywho, so we're gonna make a vegetable frittata. If you want to, you can add meat to yours, or you can put it on the side. But also with the frittata for breakfast, we are going to make us some potatoes. Now that's the funny thing. Let me address this earlier now. Many people think that, oh, you can't hear it? Cool, great. If you want me to turn it up, I can, because I'm gonna dance to it anyway. Hey, Tamika. So when it comes to potatoes, people think that you can't eat potatoes and live a healthier lifestyle. Yes, you can. I love potatoes, but everything is in moderation. So that's what we'll be doing today. So I'm going to be making 4 breakfast meals, just because I'll be going into the office 4 times this week. So I just want to make sure all of my breakfasts and lunches are ready before I go. So for my 4 breakfasts, these are the only 2 potatoes I'm going to use. As I say, it's all about moderation. Then for lunch, what we are going to do, we are going to mix it up a little bit, because I know some people say I don't like eating the same things over and over again. Oh, and speaking of that, with your frittata, don't put any meat in it. Stick with me and do vegetable. But then if you just want to switch it up throughout the week, you can add your bacon, sausage, vegan bacon, sausage, turkey, chicken, whatever you eat. So I want you to be able to switch that up. So for lunch, what we're going to do is, the only thing that's going to be consistent is that I'm making some, I never can get that camera thing right, making some quinoa, and this is the garlic and basil for some flavor. And then, excuse me, the way we are going to switch it up is that we're going to use 2 different proteins. We're going to make salmon and we're going to make shrimp. And for anybody who does not know, I am a pescatarian, so I don't cook or buy anything other than seafood. So if you're not a seafood person, feel free to swap it out for whatever meat you choose. Or if you don't eat any meat at all, then don't. And then for our vegetables, because we have to have our vegetables, we are going to swap it out. We're going to switch out with asparagus and Brussels sprouts. 2 vegetables that I love. So we want to make 4 different meals and make it varied. So I see Tamika said you can hear me. Awesome. That is great. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is turn my oven on. I'm going to preset it to 350. Now, told you we're making potatoes, and if you're like me, I hate an undercooked potato, so that's why I'm starting with that first. So what I'm going to use to cook the potatoes is just a little nonstick pot with a top. All right. And the first thing that you definitely have to do, hey Julia, well, you found me, I'm here. First thing that you have to do is clean off your potatoes. And I don't know if you all have any or not, but this thing right here is my vegetable scrub brush. And when I bought it, I was with some friends and they were laughing at me. Like, you just always buying gadgets and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this thing comes in handy because it's so much better than trying to wash it off just with your hands and all of that. So this is my brush that I use to scrub my vegetables. All right, get my cutting board. Now let me show you my cutting board. You see that it has 2 different sides. I'm going to use the same board for everything. But the reason why I like this board is because this side, the completely flat side, I use for all of my vegetables and fruits. And then this side I use for my meats. And you want to keep it separate because you don't want to cross-contaminate. But you know this is the side for the meats because these little ridges, this little border, that's actually on there to catch the juices from meats, especially like if you're dealing with chicken or something like that, so that it's not dripping all over your counter. So just a little tip for that. So if you can find you a 2-sided board like that, that is awesome. Of course, you don't have to get one like that. Just get anyone. What's up, Jerome? Hometown. Everybody, let me know where you're watching from as y'all watch me do this cooking thing. And let's address that really quickly. So I know initially I called this cooking with Krystal, but not just wash my hands before we started, but I'm going to wash my hands again, just so y'all know I don't play that nasty kitchen contamination stuff. But what was I talking about, y'all? That was throw me out. Who knows? All right, we're just gonna keep it correct. Oh, I know. I said that I was calling it cooking with Krystal, but I'm actually going to change the name, y'all. I'm changing the name to In the Kitchen with Krystal because it won't just be about cooking. It's going to be about a lot of different things to help you in your meal prepping game in the kitchen. So that's why I'm changing the name. So with that being said, starting next week, you will see a different type of name. So with these potatoes, to make sure that they cook pretty quickly, because again, we're not trying to spend a lot of time, I cut it in half first. You see that? And cut it again. I'm just gonna dice it. Small spots. This isn't my favorite knife, but cool thing about this knife is that this is my mommy's knife. Yeah, that's how old this knife is. I've had it forever. This was one of the pieces of dishes and silverware and kitchen items that she gave me when I went off to college. So I cherish it and I keep it and I always will. Actually, she gave me a whole set of this and a spatula and a slotted spoon that I still have. So for any of y'all who went to school with me, y'all know how long I've had it. For anybody else who doesn't know, I've had them for over 20 years. And this is obviously a good ass knife because it still cuts pretty doggone well. And I can't remember the last time I remember she used to sharpen it. But look, I ain't one of those. I never sharpened anything. So Had it for a long time. So you see how I'm just cutting these potatoes into small pieces just so we can go ahead and get them into the skillet. Now you see how I only use 2 potatoes. And that's the thing. Sometimes your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and sometimes you think you need more than you do because you don't realize how much this food can break down, especially when it's something that you're chopping up. So like I said, we're going to use just these 2 potatoes for my 4 meals. All right. Next thing I'm going to do to get them started, what I'm going to use, because you know you need the potatoes cook based on the steam and all that good stuff, and that's typically from some type of oil or butter or something, but I don't like those, so I'm going to use a little bit of, and you can see that, a little bit of vegetable oil to give it a little something. And I like to use, there we go. I like to get this going, get it nice and warm in it. Now don't use that much. That was about a tablespoon for all of those potatoes because you really want to let the steam cook it. It's not about the oil. So while that is warming up, I'm actually going to get a bowl to add to my, we'll add my potatoes to. And that song is too slow, y'all. Hold on for a second. Alexa, yeah. I need something a little more upbeat. Y'all can't hear what I got going on over here, but Alexa, skip. Oh, Alexa be hard-headed sometimes. But so for my seasonings, many people underestimate the power of it. Now, I'll be honest, you know, I don't really cook with salt, but I do like a little Lawry's. You can't go wrong with Lawry's, right? But I only use a little, just a little. I don't want that much at all. But what really takes up the flavor for potatoes is onions and onion powder. So I would typically use a white onion just because they have so much good flavor, but I don't feel like, actually I don't have any white onions. I only have red, and I'm going to use the red onion for something else today. So, and pepper. I love some pepper to add flavor. And grab a spoon, y'all, so I can mix this up. My pot is basically hot. Mix that up a little bit. Y'all ever seen, my dad used to love to watch Our Gang, the Rascals and all that, and this is one episode where Salmon tricked him into making him some ham and eggs. He said, you gotta swish around a little bit, it's not doing nothing. So now I'm putting it in my pot. I'm gonna have to hire me a camera person. Spread this around. So what you wanna do, first I put that top on there, because remember, we're cooking with steam. And what I do is I actually let it cook a little bit sort of on a high just to get that temperature up in the, stop that because I'm not working on none of that, to get the temperature up in the pot so that then I can go ahead and turn it down and then it's cooking off the steam. So that's going. The next thing that's going to take the longest is our quinoa. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. And we need 1 3/4 cups of water. Now this is the other thing. It'll tell you on here to add, oh, I'm glad it says it. See, I thought it was going to tell you to add butter or water, or oil. I hate when they say that. Whenever they do that, just to save yourself some calories, make sure that you are using oil some type of way. Now, I don't know if you all saw that. I'm going to show y'all something. Whenever you are measuring out, see, that's why I said I want to call it in the kitchen, because it's not just about cooking. It's about tips too. So whenever you measure out a liquid, you want to make sure that one, you're using a liquid measure cup, but then you also have to put it on a level surface to make sure you're actually getting how much you're supposed to have. So let me get this going in the pot. Now, while I'm talking about measuring, this is what I also do. when this time they tell me to put 1 teaspoon of oil, I'm not gonna lie, I don't measure that just because I cook with it so much that I know how much that all is. So I'll eyeball it. So again, using my extra light olive oil, add a little bit. All right, so we'll get that going. And if you can hear it, now my potatoes, let me readjust this, y'all. So I said, y'all gotta bear with me. It's first time trying to get this set up, because now I see why, like on cooking shows, they have the big cooking island to make it easier so you can move around. Hey, EKG and Deani and my sister said, oh, it's a lady out here. Hey, Rudy. Now I see why they have somebody right in front of you and everything right there. Because this is like this camera angle. I'm trying to get y'all to see me, see the food, see the stove, and all that good stuff. So, geez. But anyway, I'm still going to get y'all through this. All right, so let's see. Let's say to mix it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. See, that's the other thing. When you make quinoa or couscous in a box or whatever, make sure you read the instructions, because sometimes they want you to put the seasoning in first with the water before you even put, and that's typically with couscous. They'll have you cook the seasoning in with the water. But for this one, for the quinoa, they want you to go ahead and put the raw quinoa in here first. So make sure you read your instructions to make sure that it is right. All right. And if you don't have a set of wooden spoons yet, you're tripping, especially if you like me, and I think almost everybody does, you cook with non-stick pans. Get you a wooden spoon so that you don't mess up your stuff. All right, so let's see. We're going to cook that. It says in the medium saucepan, bring all that to a boil. So this is my other thing. Whenever it's time to bring something to the boil, I'll put the top on there first, gets that heat up in there quicker, brings it to a boil quicker. So you know what? Let me show you what I'm doing. So on my stove, I think y'all can see that. Okay. And my stove, I have a power burner in the front. And I'm not liking how loud this is. So I'm actually about to switch these around. That get smaller and simmer, because I want this is the power burner on the front, and I want that to boil quicker anyway. So that's why I'm switching that around. All right, so that's going. Once that starts boiling, then we will add the sauce packet, and then that would be all done, and just let that sit for a little bit. All right, so the next thing, what's the longest thing now? Now we need to get our salmon in the oven, because yes, we are going to bake it to keep it healthier. And with that, got my old school pan, and this is another thing my mom gave me. You see that? That's why I line it with foil. But what else I'm going to do is to spray it down with some Pam, just to make sure that it doesn't stick. Now, I'll tell you this. The salmon that I bought is, oh, goodness. That was too close to my face. The salmon that I bought is skin on. And I'll tell you why. The only reason why I buy it skin on, let me flip this over. I buy it skin on just because it adds a little more flavor. But what I do is, hey everybody, join. Oh, Madeline, I'm sorry at work, but let me know when you watch it on replay. I didn't say women's spoons, Gwen and Mikhail wooden. Yes, you gotta have wooden spoons when you have your non-stick. That's how you save your stuff. Save your dog an investment. But anywho, I get the skin on, but I actually take it off when it's time for me to, right after I finish cooking it, I take it off. So I get a little bit of that extra flavor and juice and moisture, but I save a lot of calories and fat from not eating the skin. So I get the frozen ones and the fresh salmon pack, but today I'm using frozen just to make it easy. Oh, ooh, my quinoa boiling already. Look at that, y'all. Quit that boil. All right. So now that that's boiling, I can add my seasoning. And it's funny, if I had known y'all wouldn't be able to hear my music, I would have been playing the trap music I really don't listen to. Right now, I have Daniel Caesar station playing because I didn't want to offend anybody with some of the stuff I listen to. But I like my music while I'm cooking. So blend that up, put it back on there to reduce heat to medium. And then boil gently for 14 to 17 minutes. And actually, since that's just going to be sitting, I'm going to move that to the back. I play a lot of musical chairs when I cook, but you got to be willing to adjust because you want it to be right. All right, so that's on low. Let me move that back. And it says boil it for 14 to 17 minutes, stirring occasionally. There we go. All right, and we're going to cover. I almost threw this away. And then I would have been confused at the end, like, what's the last thing? Keep your doggone boxes. All right, so now we're on to the salmon. Now, what was I doing? Oh, yeah. So I opened the package, and what I always do is just to rinse some of the extra look off of there. And I put it on a paper towel. That's what I lined the cutting board with, just so I can drain some of that stuff, because you don't want all the extra water when cook right. I'm gonna pat it off a little bit. And then what I also do, and I didn't do it this person, but that's all right, I'm about to take the garbage out. Because pickup day is tomorrow. Typically, like if you're not about to take yours straight out, I rinse these out too, just to get that extra smell out, so your house don't smell a mess. Now, I hope y'all can see, that's my garbage can right there. I'm not just throwing stuff on the doggone floor. Like Rachel Ray uses, she calls it her GB, her garbage bowl. But I didn't feel like putting all that stuff in a bowl or a bag. I just figured I would just use my garbage can because it's all right here any doggone way. All right, so I'm taking the salmon off with a paper towel. Dry, wash my hands again. Oh, and whenever you deal with any raw meat or eggs, wash your hands before you touch anything else. All right. So you'll see I wash my hands a lot. And that's crazy because, well, not crazy, but I have eczema. So washing my hands as much as I do is, yeah, not that great. Hey, Tamara, Danielle. What up, Birdie? Oh, my brother. Hey, bro. See how y'all people. So, yeah, so Taffy, if you don't like quinoa, there are a lot of things that you can substitute for. You can substitute out for. You can do regular brown rice. And let me tell you a tip on the whole brown rice thing. I hear people say, I don't like brown rice because it's thick, it doesn't have any flavor. A couple things, the biggest thing I do with my, I'm staring at my quinoa now. The biggest thing I do with my brown rice, I don't cook it with water. I cook it with chicken broth. That adds the flavor, and then I also cook the seasoning into it. So just like how I just use this box with the flavors, that's all it is. Instead of having a seasoning pack, I create my own. So whatever flavor I want for my rice, like I'm gonna show y'all some of my seasonings since y'all up in the kitchen with Krystal. So now I'm trying to see what y'all see. So this is I took a lot of it out, some of it's here. But so I'll use anything from all-purpose. You see, I do a lot of McCormick's and Mrs. Dash, things that don't have the sodium or whatever. But I add all types of flavor. I love cooking with garlic, Italian. So like, you know how they make the garlic in Italian food. So whatever, you can season your brown rice with anything. But that's one of my favorite substitutions. Hey, y'all. Hey. But anywho, yeah, another thing is couscous is really good. Even white rice. So that's the other thing. The same way I make my brown rice, I make my white rice the same way. If I want to make it on the side, make it savory. Because, and we're not about to have that argument now, whether it's, excuse me, salt and butter or butter and sugar. But if you like a savory rice, make it the same way. Make it with the chicken broth and put your seasonings into it. So that's another alternative, because people think that brown rice and white rice are much different and the brown rice is much, much healthier. It's not. The nutritional value is almost the same. The only thing about it is that actually it doesn't have that much more fiber, but it's supposed to have a little more fiber, which makes it fill you up a little bit longer. So that's it. But let's get this doggone salmon in the oven. And let me show y'all. Now I already sprayed my pan down. My seasonings for my salmon. I keep it simple because they are so flavorful. But Old Bay, of course, almost anytime I do anything with seafood, I use my Old Bay. But I love Cajun food and Creole food and jerk and all that stuff. And I used to have a jerk seasoning, but I can't find any store anymore. So I'm just going to use my Cajun today. So I just put a little bit of Old Bay. And the reason why I use the Old Bay is because it helps to bring out the natural flavors of the seafood. But the Cajun is what's gonna make this one crack. When I say it's so hard for me to make seafood now without this doggone Cajun seasoning. I doggone love it. Well, without bacon and stuff. Bro, don't ask me about Cajun shrimp for Christmas Eve. Maybe we'll try that one day. Let's see. All right. See, I put in a healthy amount of seasoning on there, because that's the other thing. People don't like so-called healthy food because they say it has no flavor. Well, season it. Hell, don't be afraid to season it. All right. Put this on here. I should have got some fresh fillets, but honestly, the stores were so crazy. I didn't feel like dealing with it. So I just grabbed what was there. So, oh, okay, yeah, Julie, I was gonna ask you about this at the angry face. So like, who said it's something? What I say already pissed somebody off? I know I got a mouth on. All right, so salmon is in. Bam. The next thing that we're gonna make that's going to take the longest amount of time, which actually isn't that long. Oh, actually, y'all, let me get this these vegetables in the microwave. That's the other thing I like about when we talk about prepping. It does not have to be hard. Make it as easy as you can on yourself. Get some doggone steamed vegetables. All right. And that's the other thing. So let me address that. People think that you have to get the fresh version of vegetables for it to have the most nutritional value. That is absolutely incorrect. Frozen is just as good, if not better sometimes, because what it does is that it freezes in the nutritional value for you. So I'm just cleaning my area. I told you I can't stand a dirty kitchen. But it actually freezes in the nutritional value. So whenever you can get frozen, get it. And plus, like for me, even though, but there are some things, like I told you I'm making Brussels sprouts, and I like Brussels sprouts, the steamable ones, but realistically, the best flavor comes from the fresh. So there are some where the flavor tastes better when it's fresh. Most of them do. But the frozen is a very, very, very good alternative, either when you can't find them, or if you don't plan or have the time to make them anytime soon. Because I can't tell you how many times I bought vegetables and I'm super excited and I end up not even cooking them. And then I look, because I have so many vegetables, I have so many ideas, like, oh, I want this, oh, these look good. Oh, that zucchini looks so delicious. And I'll sit there and I buy it and I don't have a chance to cook it. So go with the frozen. So now we're about to start the frittata. And I'm excited because I love my frittata. So y'all know about this. If you don't have you one, you tripping. And there was a post, hey Kelly, what up? Hey Sharita and Warren. there was a post my friend posted the other day about some little youngin posted, who makes their cornbread in a frying pan? Little boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit at my dad's feet and learn about what this is, boy, that's a damn cast iron skillet. If you got a woman who ain't got one, you with the wrong woman. So, anywho, I'm going to use my cast iron skillet for my frittata because I'm going to start it on the stove, but it's going to finish in the oven. And we all know how great our cast iron skillets are in the oven. So with this, I'm actually going to use, instead of an oil, because for our vegetables, let me say what's going in there. Have mini peppers, have some red onion, tomato. That's what I said, you gotta add some flavors. Oh, I forgot one. Bam. Spinach. I love spinach. And since this is frozen, this is actually, this is a gem that I just found. So it's a steamable bag of spinach. But I never eat, like, whenever I have frozen spinach, I only buy it just to put it in, like, breakfast stuff or whatever when I'm sauteing it. But the cool thing about these that I found, oh, you see that? Look at this. They're like in little pods. So they're already little individual servings. You don't even have to try to break it up and figure out how much you need. It's all right there for you. Boy, I was so happy when I found that. So what I'm actually going to do for this, I am using, for young people, we just had a discussion about butter today in the Fitness is Not a Game group. And if you're not in the group, stop tripping, get on over there. Hey, Katie, what up, Fred? If you're not in the group, you're tripping, get on over there. But it was a discussion about butter today. And I know people like the flavor butter. I really can't remember the last time I cooked with butter, but I do like the flavor butter. So I will use my butter spray. So that's what I'm using to start my spinach first. That's the cool thing, they just sit on in here. And this will be loaded with vegetables. I love vegetables. Most people think I'm a dork for it, but I do. Whatever, judge as you must, if you must. All right. So if y'all heard, my asparagus is already done. Did y'all hear that? So now I get to go brush across it. All right. But while that's going, it's time to chop up the vegetables, the other vegetables that are going to go in there. So I'm going to let that spinach cook a little bit. If you see it, just cooking. Give y'all a little bit of view. Just got it in a little skillet. Just letting it do what it do on low because I don't want it to cook too much yet because I do want to get the rest of my vegetables in there. So I have to make sure we have our onion first. Alexa, volume 6. I turned that up and that's not a good one to turn up. Alexa, skip. It's my jam, but I can't have that playing through here. Up there playing Cardi B, be careful. I just heard a beat and I was like, turn that up because I want to hear it. And as soon as it got loud, I was like, oh no. I ain't got time for people to be recording me or playing that type of music, as they say. I don't like that type of music. But I just have to listen to it when I'm all by myself because I will. You know what, y'all? This is funny having people to talk to when I cook because I'm typically just in the kitchen with my music. Even when the famo was here, ain't nobody helping. But you know, I ain't say that. But anywho, yeah. All right, what time is it? 2:34. We've been chit-chatting. We're almost done. All right, and I'm gonna show you. I have my containers out, so I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get this. So I said about 30 minutes, but I guess we're looking at rocking around 45, maybe somewhere around there. But like I said, I just basically want to make sure that you all see how easy it is to get it together and how much it will produce when you're done. So I'm putting my onions in now, just because I like for those to caramelize. And because I'm actually, something else I'm gonna put in here, but I'm gonna wait. Garlic, minced garlic. salad because it adds so much flavor. And looking at my peppers, I'm going to choose to do yellow and orange because I'm using tomatoes. Because you want to make it colorful and pretty. So we'll have red, yellow, green, purple, orange, all in our frittata. And when your eyes are pleased, it makes you want to eat it more. That's why you shouldn't eat monotonous foods that have monotonous colors, because your body is bored. Cut these stems off, and they don't have to be perfect or fancy. And I don't even get rid of the seeds. I know some people don't like them, but they don't bother me at all. I think it's fine. Just keep it on in there. Alexa, volume 7. Let me see what y'all listening to. I need some music. I need some fans. I must dance. Y'all gotta forgive me. I ain't got no sense sometimes. Alexa. Now she being stubborn. She don't even want to hear me. She acting like a doggone toddler. Listening to what they want to listen to. I'm actually going to switch out what I'm using for that since I'm going to break the spinach up a little bit. This is the other spoon. See how that goes together? That my mommy gave me when I went to college. So I love it. So all I'm doing is mixing this around a little bit so I can get the spinach to break up. And these vegetables to soften up a little bit. I don't want them cooked and sauteed and burned or anything like that. I just want them to be a little soft. Because if you cook it too much, then you're going to get rid of all of the nutritional value. Now, I don't know if you all heard that, but now my Brussels sprouts are done. Quick and easy. All right. So now I'm rinsing off my tomatoes that I will put into, and I use a ridge knife for that one just because I like for it cut quicker. And I just cut them like in quarters just to spread out so you don't have to use as much, and it adds a lot of little pretty colors to pop through. Now, so something that you might be thinking with my frittata. Am I going to put cheese in here? Nope. But I don't do cheese. If you like cheese, you can do cheese. Go for it. It's just not for me. Not in my things to do in my life. Put my tomatoes away. That's the other thing, y'all. I can't help but clean while I cook. It's crazy. Put that a little bit longer. All right. Oh, so how am I gonna make frittata without eggs, y'all? Why y'all didn't tell me I had no eggs? Real talk. All right. So we know this is the basis for, well, the staple, I should say, for the frittata. So let me check out some of these comments. Oh, Warren, you say you love sauteed spinach, make you hungry. Good. I would say come on over. Well, you know what? If you come on over, I'll make you some more. You can't have this one. This is for me. But yeah, I make some. I love me some sauteed spinach. Oh, and it looks like my quinoa is already done. So turn that off. Put the top on it. Follow instructions. All right. But yeah, I'll make you some more. Marie asked, where did I find the spinach? The spinach was actually, y'all saw that bell pepper just jump down there? That's all right. I actually found the spinach at Target. That's their staples. So, hey, Yakisha, hey, Jarita. Oh, I see Warren and Gwen talking, so that's cool. All right, so let me start getting these eggs together for my frittata. Now, I'll tell you this, I don't eat whole eggs too often. It's very, very, very rare that I do. So I do egg whites. So I'm going to separate my eggs really quickly, and I'm actually turning down my vegetables and scoot my garbage can over a little closer. But I do mine by myself. Now, yes, before anybody says it, I know that there are liquid egg whites that you can buy, but when I look at the nutritional value, the nutritional bar, it always I don't like the information on there just because I know that if I eat a whole egg, a whole large egg, that is 70 calories. However, an egg white has 13 calories, right? But when you look at the doggone, and y'all doing shock faces because I'm sorting mine, I'm doing it individually. I do this so much that I don't even think about it. But the that's all right. But when you look at the nutritional facts on the egg white container, it's a lot more than when I just separate the eggs myself. And to me, I don't understand why the numbers are different when they're supposed to be the same. So I just sort of don't trust it, and I just prefer what I can do myself. And I'm not afraid of a little mess, so it is what it is to me. So I do it so, and if that happens, like it did, see, I just easily scooped it out. It's all good. All right, so the potatoes over here smelling good, making good noise. I like it. I'm actually, once I finish with this and wash my hands, I'm going to actually stir them up a little bit. But when you remember that, you gotta mush around a little bit with our game. So almost done. And the reason why I'm doing 12, you're like, dang, you did the whole thing. I did 12 just because for my breakfast meals, I like 3 egg whites per meal. Because it adds a lot of depth. Now, I know some people are like, I'm not ready to just do all egg whites. They don't have that much flavor. I need some more depth and blah, blah, blah. If you're not ready to go straight egg white, half and half it. Do 1 regular egg and do 1 egg white. That also, and that's the other thing, people are like, that's just wasting. Look at all them yolks you just threw away. That's wasting a lot of food and blah, blah. No, it's not. But if you feel like you needed to stretch a little bit further, ooh, y'all hear them potatoes? Hey, yeah, baby. Ooh, and they smell good. Bam. Yeah. But if you're not ready to do all egg whites, then just do. I'm not throwing this on the floor. It's like a fan over there. But do 1 and 1. Let's see how that works for you. All right. Hey, Ross, what's going on? Let's see, who else? Let's see. Oh, okay. So Taffy says, I've always been wary of eggs that have been made for more than a day or 2. If that's the case, you can freeze it. But honestly, it'll hold in the fridge for the week, because they're cooked already. So you don't really have to worry about that. But if you are afraid, you can always easily freeze it. If you do freeze it, then I suggest that when you heat it up, use a wet paper towel, get it moist, and lay it on top. And then if you can, like either on a lower setting than your full setting, or if you're on your full setting, not that much. But the thing of, well, actually do the full setting, because the reason why you're going to use, and I'm pointing like y'all can see my paper towels, that's my point at. The reason why you want to use a wet paper towel is because that actually creates like a steam. So when you warm it up, it's like adding the juice to it again and making it fresher. So I do that with a lot of my frozen foods that were previously cooked. Hey, Sean. Let's see. Warren says something like professional chef. I see you with your egg game. Ha. Yeah, I've split it so much, it's crazy. Oh, Julie says she freed out because I threw away the yolks. I just don't eat them. Like, I really don't. And I will say this. I recently started doing like, because I eat a lot of boiled eggs. And I actually have a whole dozen of boiled eggs in my fridge now. And I like those. I keep boiled eggs on hand just because they are a great source of protein. But yeah, I throw away the yolks with that too. So recently I said, okay, I'm gonna try to do 1 and 1. You know, eat a whole egg, eat an egg white. And I'm just like, man, that yolk, I don't know. I can't do it. Gwen says all egg whites are good. Add barley flakes, sea salt, and cayenne. That's not a bad idea. I've never added barley to it. I don't do too much salt, but I do like. Oh, that's the other thing. So Gwenny, thank you for reminding me of my tips. So, and I turned these vegetables down super duper low. I'm still over here talking. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and add this garlic and the tomatoes. We're basically ready. Something that I do, because I love it when I'm actually eating the frittata. And what, let me tell you this real quick. I'm adding the garlic last just because since it's minced, if I cook it in early, it will burn so fast. And so you don't want that. So I add it in last with my tomatoes because I also don't want the tomatoes to get too soggy. So I add those in at the end just for a little flavor. And again, the tomatoes for color. And I bet y'all, we've been talking. Guess what? The salmon's done. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out because we're going to replace it with the frittata. See that? Salmon is already done. So in 30-some minutes, almost everything is done. This frittata is not going to take much time at all. Anyway, but what else are we talking about? Y'all know I can't keep talking about 5 different things at once. Oh, Rudy, the spinach. Yes, frozen spinach. It's a steamable frozen spinach. And what I was saying was I love it because it comes in these little blocks. So you don't even have to try to measure it out or whatever. You know, you're getting the same amount. And I got it from Target. All right. Hey, Azrael. Oh yeah, but somebody asked about grapeseed. Yes, grapeseed oil is really good too. All right, so vegetables for the frittata are done. So I just turned off my heat. And now what I'm doing is I'm spreading it out to make sure all the colors are nice and even throughout my pan. Because now that I've split my egg whites, and I'm sorry, Sora, I'm sorry I threw away all those yolks. Now I'm about to just cover it with the egg. So again, if you are using cheese, you can either put it inside or you can drizzle it on the top when it's done to get it melted. That's on you. I just don't use it. But because I like the flavor of cheese, I don't know if you all saw me shaking this. There is a popcorn topper that says white cheddar. And they have a lot of flavors. They have like, I think a jalapeno cheddar, a bacon cheddar. So especially for any of you who are trying to stay away from bacon but like the flavor of it, you can use that too. And I just use this as an addition or a substitution so that I'm cutting down on my calories. So hey, Melinda. So I'm just putting this into my eggs, as you can see. Get a nice amount in there. I'm gonna whisk this up and pour it directly on top of my frittata. Now it's funny. I wish my niece was on here. What up, Derek? Because we have a joke about whisking eggs. There's somebody who shall remain nameless who I just snorted. I'm sorry. Who's not that comfortable or adept at whisking eggs, and then sort of just stirred it. And even though I have whisk, I'm still old school where I prefer fork. I use a whisk to cook my eggs sometimes, but when it comes to whisking, I like my fork. And I'm actually using it now just to get it in there a little bit more. Yeah. And I just decided, see, I wash my hands every time I touch anything close to it. I do want a little spice on this. So y'all know what I'm about to do? I'm gonna add some crushed red pepper, just a little bit of it on top. That's the flavor. And y'all probably like, dang, how much you gonna shake? To me, the spice the better. All right, the chowder's ready to go. Throw that in the oven. It's gonna cook. So, last few things, only other thing that has not been cooked at all yet is the shrimp. And that's just because shrimp takes no time to cook at all. But I, again, use just frozen, fresh, whatever. If you get frozen or fresh, I just always say don't use it, the kind that's already cooked, because then if you try to cook it, add any flavor, you will dry out your shrimp, and it's gonna be hard and chewy. So don't do that. Always get raw. So let me put some of this stuff back out, because I believe in cleaning as I cook, and it's driving me crazy to have this stuff just sitting out and in my way. Sorry, that sounded loud. But I also want to go ahead and season up. I can get rid of this now. Season up the vegetables because they are done. Oh, if y'all didn't know, you're supposed to keep your minced garlic in the refrigerator. If not, come on back and catch them all that dog mold if you want to. All right, so let me show you what I do. The other cool thing. Hey, Nikki and Melinda. Did I miss anybody else? So the cool thing about these vegetables, let me grab the Brussels sprouts. They are cooked in a bag. So to save on dishes and time, I actually season them right in the bag. This one doesn't tear at the top. Not gonna be friendly, so I can cut it. Right. So now, with my seasonings, don't take that up. Okay. So I use a lot of Mrs. Dash. Let me get to the right side. I use a lot of Mrs. Dash just because I like that they're sodium free. So they're a lot healthier. And I don't even have high blood pressure. I actually have low blood pressure, where the average person is what was it 120 over 90? I'm typically like 90 over 60. So I can have more sodium in my diet if I wanted to, but I know just overall it's not that good for you. So hopefully you all are minimizing your salt intake as well. So I use a lot of Mrs. Dash, but to add a little flavor and just a little bit of that, because we know that salt it does make foods taste a little bit better. But instead of me using salt, I add more flavor by using Tony Chachere's, a little Creole seasoning. So it just adds more flavor. All right, so I will just pour this in here. Not a lot. And I mix up my flavors. What is this? Oh, that's tomato, basil, and garlic. All right. I do like that. And with the, and that's the thing, with the ones that are salt-free, I don't feel bad about using a lot. Now, you'll see with my Tony Chachere's, I only use a little bit. Now, I actually wash that. And I shake this around like it's popcorn. Just to distribute those flavors. Wrap them around a little bit. All right. Then I'm gonna do the same thing for my asparagus. Oh, that's my song. Alexa, volume 9. That's my jam. So, for real, girl. I need my music while I cook. So I don't know if y'all can hear this. This is Lenubian. I have no clue what the hell they saying, but I love this song. And in my head, I'm singing with them like Shashon. I don't know what the hell that means. I don't even know if that's what they said, but I say it with them. Shashon. Y'all hear that? Taffy, no, I have not had the slap your mamas. I've seen it before, but I've never got it. Have you tried it? Is it good? You say, no, I haven't. So now that these are done, I'm going to, well, it's not plating, but it's put them in the storage containers to get them ready for, this is my song. My bad, y'all. Told you I was going to sing and dance. This is my, I almost said that word, but I'm going to be nice because we're on Facebook. So I have these storage containers. I've had them for a long time, so I don't know where I got them from, more than likely Wally World. But I like them because of the two sizes in this one container. And so what I do is I use the smaller side for whatever my starch is, whether it's couscous, quinoa, potatoes, rice. I put it over here, and then I put my vegetables down first, and then I put my protein on top on the big side. So that's what we're about to do. About to measure cup. My bad, y'all. Sometimes I forget y'all here because it's my song. All right. So with the vegetables, remember I said we're mixing it up. So I will put the asparagus in two, and then the Brussels sprouts in the other two. Remember, the only thing that's going to be consistent for each meal, not may have over steamed those, they steam like crazy. The only thing that's going to be consistent throughout these 4 meals will be the quinoa. So hopefully you've chosen a flavor that you like, or you can switch it up. So, that's the other thing. A lot of people are afraid of it, but don't be afraid to have a savory breakfast. If you have extras, like I was talking to my girlfriend, one of my bestest friends in the world, she and her husband like to make Brussels sprouts for breakfast. And my other friend was like, Brussels sprouts for breakfast? I'm like, girl, yes. Because I'm not a sweet person anyway. It's very rare that I eat almost anything sweet. So having a savory breakfast works great for me. But don't be afraid of like what I'm making right now for my lunches. You can easily have for breakfast. Quinoa, couscous, all that stuff. They are really, really good for breakfast. Don't sleep. All right. Get yourself out of the routine. And I'm about to check on these potatoes. They've been cooking for a while. They are nice and soft. Let me grab me a little fork to taste it. But sometimes I add a little extra, did y'all see me burn my line? A little extra onion powder. And I want a little extra. There it is. Tell you, that onion powder is what sets potatoes off. But I like the consistency, so I'm gonna turn it off and just let that sit there. All right, so now we are going to put our quinoa into our containers. Now, the thing about when you are dealing with grains, your starches or whatever, you do want to make sure that you measure it so that you are not fooling yourself about how much you're actually eating. Don't try to eyeball it and say, oh, I think it was just the serving size. You don't know that unless you actually, y'all see my house shoes? Anyhow, you don't know that unless you actually measure. So I like to do like a half cup. So this measuring cup I have is pretty cool because you can actually, I don't know if you all can see that. Let me show you. It actually has two settings in one. Can you all see that? So on the inside, and I'm trying, there you go. If I was to fill it to that bottom line, the middle one, that's a quarter of a cup, but the whole thing is a half a cup. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out my half cup because that's all you really need for a serving. And that's partially, like again, where people go wrong. They just sit there and say, oh, I can just eyeball it. And a half a cup sounds like not a lot, but y'all see how much that is in there? That's all you need. It's all about portion control and moderation. And honestly, when you cook it out that box, it cooks out about 2 cups. So if you want to make sure that it's even, you should measure it out anyway, because I'm actually almost out. Oh, I need you to. Now I'm at the bottom, so I need my wooden spoon. I ain't got time to be messing up my non-stick. You hear that, Mikkel and Gwen? Wooden spoons. Well, actually, this is the end of it. It is. I'm not even gonna fill up that whole thing. So now I can just get my shine, come back. All right. See that? Almost done. Now, I told y'all that I don't eat the skin on my salmon. I don't do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let me get a different knife. Hey, I don't want to time travel no more. All right, so I usually just use a knife and I flip my salmon over and I just scrape it off. But I just really don't want all that extra fat. I don't. And sometimes you get all of it, sometimes a little bit sticks, and that's not a problem, but we're trying to minimize how much extra fat we eat. So even though I made 4 pieces of salmon, I'm not about to make it all for as much, because remember I told you we are switching out. I made extra salmon just because I like having extra food on the side, well, prepared for the fridge. So if I decide I want some salmon for breakfast, or if I want some salmon for dinner, I was already cooking some, why not have some extra in my fridge, right? So let me get a container for that, for those extra 2. And I should have just took off the skin for all of it. Hold on, Kate. And you all will see, I don't know if you paid attention to it or not, but I don't have the tops over here, and that's for a reason. You always want to make sure your food actually gets room temperature before you put it in the fridge. So, hey Tremaine, hey Lan. Go ahead, stop snitching on Mikkel, talking about old time. Yeah, you know what, Rudy, with the skin, with the salmon, one time I did eat it, and it wasn't bad, but then I was just like, I only did it that one time, and I was like, yeah, I can go without it, but I did notice a huge difference in how it tasted. Because you know what, honestly, let me tell you what happened. I always used to buy the skinless, and one day, Fred actually bought the salmon, and he bought the skin on. I think he had bought some that was like already seasoned or something, but it was skin on. And I ate and I was like, oh, this is much juicier than when I made my salmon. Like, what is different? And then once I saw the skin, I was like, oh, that's what's different. And I liked it, but like you said, once I kept eating the skin, I wasn't happy about it. And I was like, nah, I'm going to go back to not eating it, but I will get it. So just washing my hands yet again. Y'all should do a tally. I mean, that's how much I eat. That's why my skin's so doggone dry. I gotta keep my medicine everywhere. All right, so check on this frittata. It's getting there. All right, so the last thing we have to do. Somebody tell me what's the last thing we making? Oh, let's say the skin is the best part for real. Well, go for it, Ola. I'm not gonna judge you, boo boo. So last thing we are about to make real quick. That's a shame. I'm cleaning up. It's so hard for me to just cook without cleaning. Like, I can't stand the dirty kitchen. Last thing we're gonna make is our shrimp. I'm just cleaning up because I need some space. Grab one last pan, and we will make this shrimp real quick. Grab that while we're in here. All right. So I told you all that I don't believe in getting cooked shrimp. So it is raw already. And I am going to do a quick devein of the shrimp. And then we will just saute it. All right. And then we will be done. And I said 30 minutes, but you know, we've been talking so much. That's the funny thing. Just over here talking. And it's taking a little bit longer, but I am enjoying having y'all here. If you are enjoying being here, if the information has been helpful, please say yes and let me know in the comments while I keep putting this stuff away. Y'all hear my song? Take me away. Y'all, I'm sorry. Like, it's funny. I'm over here laughing like they watching me clean up. But this is so, if y'all in my kitchen, y'all gonna see how I act in my kitchen. My kids will tell you, I do this the whole time because I feel like you gotta have a clean workspace at all times. So. All right, but we are almost done. Right, you're right, sis. Maybe that's what Mama taught us, clean as you go, because I can't do it. All right, so my shrimp has been defrosting in water. You never want to just let your meats defrost in an open room without it being in water. The water actually helps regulate the temperature so that it doesn't start cooking from the temperature in the room or overheating and starting to develop bacteria. So you want to do it either, actually the best way is in the refrigerator, but honestly, by the time I figure out what I'm gonna make, I don't have time for a whole day or two. So just grabbing my last bowl so I can devein the shrimp. And if anybody, Julie, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you. You said, Tab, you said you got to be sitting at the bar next time you get the full plate right on. So if anybody is hopefully not squeamish on this, my sister Gwen would tell you, we used to devein a lot of shrimp. Y'all hear that wind blowing like the apocalypse? I swear it's like the world ended. But this is just a pound of shrimp. We won't use all of this. Oh, that's my song. Hey. Won't use all of this in our meals because I actually still count them out for serving size. But just like the salmon, I'm making extra so I can decide when I want to use it. Because I might use one of these as the side meat to my frittata. That's a shame I'm over here talking to the music. Something just saying, it's my song. So if anybody's curious about what I'm listening to, and just in case Facebook police around trying to act like I'm acting like this is my music, I am listening to the Daniel Caesar station on Pandora, like my favorite chill station. And this song is the one, I forgot who sings it though. Told y'all, if y'all in my kitchen, you gotta deal with how I act in my kitchen. And that frittata is basically done. And that's great because once it gets done, I can pull it out probably around the same time I put the shrimp on. Because shrimp takes no time to cook, and that way I can let the frittata chill a little bit before I cut it and put it in the container. And I'll show you what container. Yeah, show you which container I'm using for that too. Oh yeah, the sauce you are the one. This is the best kind of butter. This is still my jam. And when I wash my hands, y'all, I'll scroll down and look at the comments. See if there are any questions, any of that. And for y'all been rocking me for an hour, I appreciate you. Actually having a great time. So that's what's up. Appreciate you. Is there anybody who should be watching this that hasn't been on here yet? If so, tag them so that they can watch it in the replay. Because somebody's like, oh, I have no idea what I'm supposed to even cook, or it takes too long. Like I said, the only reason why it's taking me this long is because I'm talking to you. But I'm in here just rocking to my music. And once you all watch this and just get some ideas, make it your own. It still won't even take you an hour. And even if it does, it's an hour for, I'm making 8 meals. Is that not worth it? And you are saving your money from buying fast food. You are controlling what you are putting in your body. Let's see. Oh yeah, because that fast food, I mean, and then you don't have to think about it. I tell you, the few times where I've forgotten or I just didn't feel like taking my breakfast or lunch to work, I get frustrated. Oh, that's my part. I get frustrated trying to even think about and decide what I'm gonna eat. This just takes all the guesswork out and it saves you time. So an hour for 8 meals. And that's just, like I said, for the most part, it don't even take that long for prep work. But I'm just having fun chit-chatting with y'all and watching because this apocalypse. Y'all, what's crazy is there's this huge planter in the backyard. We bought this house 13 years ago. Huge planters. And I was like, oh, we bought our house from I guess you said an elderly couple. And I was like, oh, those planters don't fit our style. Let's go ahead and just get rid of them. Until we tried to pick them bad boys up. They are heavy as hell. And then my mother-in-law came and said, well, I'm going to plant some tomatoes in it. So it was like, okay. The tomatoes never grew because I don't know how to take care of those. But that planter, I said that planter is like over 100 pounds probably. Well, somewhere at least around 70, 80, if not more. But the damn wind blew that thing. It just scooted over. Ain't gonna apocalypse. All right. Shrimp is done. And the vein, we're about to season it up. And y'all know again what I'm using because I'm keeping with the same palette. My Old Bay. Also, I was gonna give y'all some comment time. Hold on. Gwen, yep, clean as you go. Yep, you doggone right. All right. Now, Cajun. Actually, this one I already had. Mix it up a little bit. Man, if y'all could smell this, oh my gosh. I'm excited. Oh, this is my jam. Y'all know that song? Can y'all hear it? Oh, she cursing. I was about to tell Alexa to get a little louder, but I don't want nobody recording me. But it's still my jam now, so I'm gonna listen to it. Can y'all hear my music? Tell me if you can hear it. I'm gonna use a little bit more Pam again, because I'm just sauteing the shrimp. And sometimes I will use a little bit of coconut oil, just because I like the flavor of it. But since I used oil in the quinoa, I'm just trying to minimize how much oil I use. Oh, this frittata getting bubbly. All right. So my shrimp and my skillet real quick. Wait till it gets nice and hot. Use this time to straighten up a little bit more. Y'all hear that? Oh, while we wait. So these are the containers that I'm going to use for my frittata. They're just square, just so it put the frittata because I'm when I cut it, and I'll pull it out in a second. I'm just gonna cut it in fours, just like you would cornbread, and stick it in here, and I will put my potatoes in there too. Let the flavors get a little murky. All right, it's getting ready. You see how it's getting warm. Just heads up, you see that it starts browning like that around the edges. Oh, see the smoke. That means it's time to get it cracking. Oh, turn my fan off. Almost left it down one shrimp. You lost your mind. All right, gonna clean off my wooden stove so I can saute this real quick. Check this out. This is our last thing, y'all. The shrimp cooks super duper fast. So let me go ahead and get this frittata out of the oven. Y'all ready to see what it looks like? You ready to see? Say yes, yes. Hey, Tanisha. Oh, Julie, you can't hear the music? Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not going nowhere without a doggone win. It's not about to take me out like I'm damn Dorothy or somebody. I've been cracking up laughing at folks posting about women better hold their wigs down and glue their wigs down. That wig basically woke me up last night. Oh, child. Yeah, y'all see that frittata? Look at that beauty, nice and thick. So I'm gonna let this sit on over here. And y'all see that? Look at that pretty thing. Hey, pretty girl. I say some of y'all might want to put a little cheese on top of it. That's cool. I've actually done it before because I don't know how and why, but I had like some shredded cheese in my refrigerator. I can't remember what I made. And it was like a pepper jack cheese. I was like, I think I will. Yes, I will. I told you I like anything spicy too. And I will say, I'll admit the cheese adds a different level, but I just can't. First of all, I don't do a lot of dairy. So, and I'm just flipping the shrimp one time. That's all you need. Again, we do not want to overcook it at all. But then it gets chewy, and nobody likes that. Well, this just took me back. Doggone. Wait a minute, y'all. I gotta turn it up because I want y'all to hear this because I think this was everybody's song. Hold on. Can y'all hear that? To begin, how you think you really gonna pretend like he wasn't down there? Called him again for a swing. You give it up so easy, you ain't even pulling him. If you ever did, she cursed. Right, shrimp is done. Girlfriend, y'all get that y'all jam? What up, Trim? And we are actually finishing up. It's just the minimum, and you still defending them now. Lauren, it's only human. Don't think I have a bed to say. Predicament. Well, y'all get to see all my mama's utensils today. Oh no, yeah. It's funny because I actually used it this morning for breakfast. Oh, this is another gadget. If y'all don't have it, get you one. Like a little brush, or you can put your detergent in there. That way you don't have to run a whole, like you just need to wash something off, one or two things. You don't have to run the whole thing of water. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this here up. If I can, well, I swear y'all, I'm gonna get better with this, figuring out which way the camera goes. Because I'm looking at it and got me all backwards. All right. Woo, see how fluffy that is? Yes. Yes. Cut that up a little bit. Have to get all my spinach. Can't reel that off. Stickier in the morning. That's all right though. You know what? I actually need to let it set a little bit longer. So I'm gonna let that sit a little longer. If your food ever starts tearing up like that, because it comes straight out, it's just not cool enough yet. So I'll plate that after we get off. Y'all been rocking with me for an hour. So get y'all out of here. So all I'm gonna do is my last 2 containers have my, oh, you know what? I'm tripping. Remember I said we were gonna switch it all up. Y'all see that? So what I want to do is to make sure each meal, my camera acting up. Each meal is different. I'm actually gonna swap out. So 1 salmon and asparagus, 1 salmon and Brussels sprouts. So now when I get my doggone shrimp, Alexa, volume 5. Now I'll put a little shrimp with my asparagus, with my Brussels sprouts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I'm counting out 13 because about 13 shrimp is 1 serving. Not actually, you have to be diligent if you have goals. So don't just eyeball it and say, oh, I think I'm eating this much. Follow the serving size. That's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And you see I have a little shrimp left over. So when you do that, you know how much you're consuming. So, all right. So a little bit of over an hour of me yapping, and singing and dancing. We basically, we did make 4 different meals. And then what I haven't plated yet, but I will, my frittata, I said plate, but it's more into a container, and my potatoes. Now, the only reason I haven't put the potatoes in yet is just because I'm waiting on the frittata. Actually, I think I may put them in the container first and put the frittata on top. Boom. So that's it. So in a little bit over an hour hanging out, I have breakfast and lunch ready for all 4 days that I go into the office this week. Only an hour of having fun, talking, listening to music, and dancing. Didn't spend a lot, not a lot of ingredients. But what I will do when we're done, I will list all of the ingredients that I used in the comments. Again, if you're watching this on replay, let me know. And whenever you make these, please let me know. Post pictures. You can post them here. Well, in the page, we don't get to see a lot of the activity. So my task for you all, my goal for you all, go to the Facebook group if you're not already in there. And once you make it, post it in the groups, and that way we can all see it and we can talk about it. Let me know what your process was. Let me know what you swapped out if you chose not to use what I used. Let's see, like your meats, if you use any meats, if you don't use quinoa. So let me know how it goes for you. I'm excited to hear it. And next week we will be back with more meal prep. I will give you a tip that it will be helpful for people who are constantly on the go. What's up, Pat D? Thanks, Gwen, you're right. So thank you, Julie. I'm glad you thought it was cool. Let's just say 8 meals in an hour. That's nothing. It's not that bad at all. So next week I will I'll make a breakfast for people on the go. Because I will say, when my clients say, oh, I'm always busy, can you give me a shake for my breakfast? No, we don't do shakes for breakfast because it's about a lifestyle and having a healthy, balanced meal. So I will give you at least a good on-the-go breakfast idea and then another good lunch. So, all right, I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate and love y'all. I want to turn this up, but I can't because Cardi keeps popping on my Daniel Caesar, and when I'm here by myself, I can act a fool, but I don't want y'all to see all that, and I definitely don't want to get reported to Facebook jail. So, all right, I'm done, y'all. Have a great Sunday, and hope to see you in the Facebook group soon. All right, bye, y'all.